what is going on, guys? This is Kyle from the Shadow Realm. This is going to be my deck tech video for Selvala, Heart of the Wilds. My latest commander deck. She is a mono green commander. But before we get started, I just want to say a few things. For one, if there's any meowing in the background, I apologize. That's my cat. Yeah, say hi. He's really annoying. But other than that, I know there's a few janky combos you can do with Selvala, like Umbral Mantle and Genesis Wave. But for this deck, I didn't do that. I wanted to focus on just pure beatdown / big creatures, because I've never actually done a big creature deck before. So I thought this would be something really fun to do. I usually don't play green, but it's really fun. And I'm also not going to be reading every card because it would just take way too long. I'll try to zoom in a little bit here. There you go. I'll try to zoom in a little bit so that you can read these cards. So let's start with the commander herself, Selvala. Basically, she lets you draw cards, and her second ability gets you all the mana you need to get the big boys out. And once the big boys are out, you can just get more mana, and it keeps going from there. So there's a few things I went with while doing this deck, so I'm going to show those right now. So first section of the deck, we have the mana. So we'll start that. First, we got our Birds of Paradise, our Bop. It's a great mana dork. Next, we got another mana dork, Findahorn Elves, Llanowar Elves, Elvish Mystic. That about makes it for all the one-tappers. So really good to have, especially if you have Crater Hoof. Next we got Somberwald Sage. She taps for 3, and it's only creatures. Shaman of the Forgotten Ways taps for 2, can only be used on creatures, but he also has a really good formidable ability that just wins you the game, basically. Next for our staples, we got a Sacred Tribe Elder. Really good end step move, gets you some more land. Wood Elves is just a great card in general, especially if you have a lot of mana. Let's keep going here. We have Oracle of Moldiah, a very great card. Also just a really good toolbox in general, but really good for ramp. The total top card of your library thing really doesn't matter in this format. So next you get your Rampant Growth, just pure ramping. Cultivate and Kodama's Reach both do the same thing. The more expensive ones, we got Explosive Vegetation, which searches for 2. And then we have Skyshroud Claim, which also searches for 2, but you put them both on the battlefield, which is really nice. Of course, we got Soul Ring, always. Exploration is just an amazing card, especially on turn 1. You can get all that land that's probably in your hand just dumped on the battlefield. And then Burgeoning for when your opponents are putting down land. You can do it too. You can join the fun. So that about does it for the mana section. So let's go to the next section, which I like to call the control section. Green is obviously not really a control color, but there's a few options you can do. So let's do Heroic Intervention first, because this card is just, since there's a lot of board wipes as it is, especially in bigger games, this can help save your butt pretty much, and it's just a really good toolbox card. Next we got Prowling Serpaperd. I'm definitely gonna get that name wrong. That's why I just say Prowling. This is really good because it goes really blue does not like it, and you're playing a lot of creatures, so it's just really great. Next you got Bane of Progress. This is for when you're going against white or black. You get a big boy out. Of course it destroys yours, but if you're going this late in the game, you really don't need Exploration or anything anymore. Next you got Acidic Slime. Just the infamous 5 mana 2/2. Drop it, pop something. Just great card in general. Song of the Dryads. This is a really cool control card, especially for like if you're going against a zombie or any other really annoying creature. You can just make it a forest and you're all good. Next we got Crowsand Grip for those artifacts and enchantments that you really don't want on the field. Beast Within for literally anything on the field. It's a permanent. The infamous Reclamation Sage, just when it enters you pop an artifact or an enchantment, and it's a 3-mana 2/1, so not bad. Next you got your Crushing Vines. It either destroys a creature with flying, which can be really good, or it can destroy an artifact, which is also very nice. And you got Spring Cleaning. This card's really cool because it's 2 mana destroy an enchantment, which is fine. But then you clash, and if you win, you destroy all enchantments your opponents control. You'll most likely be winning the clash since you have a lot of high mana, so it could be pretty cool. And if you have what's her face? If you have Oracle out, you can almost be guaranteed, which is pretty cool combo, I guess. And then Nature's Claim, 1 mana, destroy something. They gain 4 life. It doesn't matter. You're going to be dealing a lot more than 4. So that does it for the control section. Now let's go on to the general toolbox. First, we got our Nylea. She's a very cheap 6/6, and she will most likely be entering as a creature. And she gives your creatures trample, and she pumps your creatures, which is great. Yeva is just an amazing card, especially in green, when you just want to do things in your opponent's end step, but you really can't because you're in green. She lets you do that, only to creatures. Surrak, this guy, I don't see a lot of him, but he's really good. A 4-mana 5/4 makes you get into your card draw a lot better. And he has a Formidable, where if your power is 8 or greater, you get haste. Something gains haste. Anything you control, which is nice because he's 5 already, so getting to 8 will not be hard. So you get haste, which is really nice. 1,000-Year Elixir, just really great for Selvala because she can enter immediately and you can start ramping. And you can use one of the mana you do produce to untap her and just make more mana. So, Eternal Witness. Do I really have to explain this one? This is just a great card overall, especially if you're going against like Mill or something, someone pops something of yours. Anything. It's just great. Swiftfoot Boots helps with your protection for Selvala. It also helps give things haste, so not bad. Planar Bridge is just when you should be winning. Really good against blue because they can't counter. I guess they could disallow the ability, but they can't counter spell it because it's not a spell. And you'll be getting a lot of mana, and this is for anything, so it's pretty good. Champion of Ronaz, a 4-mana 3/3. You can exert it and then put a creature from your hand onto the battlefield. So this is really good, especially if you give it haste. You can just immediately go into something. Defense of the Heart is a completely busted card. If your opponent controls 3 or more creatures during your upkeep, you just search for 2 creatures and put them onto play. Don't have to be a certain color or nothing, just 2 creatures, put them onto the battlefield. Really good. Next we got Natural Order, another pretty old card. Basically you sack a green creature and search for a green creature, put it onto the battlefield. This can get you a lot of your really good green cards. It can get you Yeva, Nylea, but you're really going to be using it for the big creatures, which we'll get into in a moment. Eldritch Evolution, an amazing card. Kind of does the same thing as Natural Order, except it doesn't have to be green creatures. And it's 1 less mana, so it's pretty good. And you can't search for just anything. It's got to be X is 2 plus the sacrifice creature CMC. So it's got to be something, like that. Green Sun Zenith kind of works the same way. It's just, you can just search for anything. Pretty good. For any creature, I mean. Next we got your Garruk. You're really just going to cash this guy in for drawing cards. Because I don't know about you, but 5 mana draw 10 is pretty good, in my opinion. Momentous Fall, a really good card. It's an instant. You can do this in response to a board wipe, and you can draw, however many cards and gain that much life. I mean, it's not really that important. Just classic Harmonize, draw 3, always good. Elemental Bond, you're going to be, things with power 3 or greater are always going to be entering, so you're going to be drawing cards more and more. And then finally, Sylvan Library, it's just great turn 2 card. You can keep looking through your deck, and just a great card in general. So that about does it for that. Now let's get into the ones you've been waiting for. Of course, the big creatures, your win conditions. First, starting off strong, we got Embercool. She's really easy to get out, just saying, and you can cast her. So all the Eldrazi are going to be really awesome because you can actually cast them without waiting a bunch of turns, and you can ramp. Ulamog, great cast effect, and he's a winning condition in himself, to be honest, because they just exile 20 every time you attack. Ulamog has Annihilator. Another Ulamog, he has Annihilator 4, which is really awesome, and he can destroy things when he enters. So, going out of the Eldrazi, we have Ronaz. He's just a really good turn 3 play because, unlike the other gods, he enters as a creature. So he's 5/5, and with Selvala you can draw cards. He's just also indestructible, which is really nice, and he can pump your other creatures, which is nice too. Next, Giant Ediphage. This is just a great card. 7 mana, 7/7. Whenever it deals damage, it has trample. Whenever it deals damage, you make another 7/7. So really fun. That was just fun. I have 3 proxies in here. This is one of them at the moment. I'm waiting for them in the mail. 8, 9, 10, 11, and 11, 15, 15. Look at that. With trample. The biggest creature in the deck, honestly. It's really fun to get it out with natural order. So it's always good. 15's really good, and it can just come back. Just like Blightsteel. Blightsteel can also come back. And this is just a win condition in itself, especially if you make it unblockable. Trample Infect, really good. And the last proxy is Craterhoof Behemoth. Very expensive card. Really, really good with Avenger of Zendikar. Because you just make a bunch of plants, and then you put him out, everything gets +X, and they don't get haste. No, they get trample though. He has haste, which is just great. You can get so much damage into that guy. Next you have Steel Hellkite. I added this one recently because it has flying, and its second ability is a really good control. It's really good for control because you can just pop a bunch of tokens, pop a bunch of anything really. Really good. Galtia. Oh, yeah, Galta. Primal Hunger. This is always a 2 mana 12/12 basically. So 2 mana 12/12 last time I checked are pretty good. Yes, Bobby, I know. Primordial Hydra. This is a great card. It keeps doubling every turn. Obviously, if it lasts that long, if it doesn't, he's still a really great card because you can dump a bunch of mana into him. He enters as a huge thing. You get to draw a card, and then you get more mana. Just more mana. That's what you want. Sorry. Terastodon. This is not widely used, honestly, but it's really good because you can pop non-creatures, and then you just give your opponent 3/3s, which is fine, or you can do it to yourself and get more 3/3s, which is setting up for Craterhoof or something. And then last big creature is Regal Force. Just drawing cards is what you want, and you can do it easily with Regal Force. So that does it for the non-lands. So now we're going to go into lands. I run 40 lands in this deck. 37 of them are all forests, all basic, because you want those basic synergies. And you don't want people destroying non-basic lands. And I don't really find any other lands I really need that aren't expensive. So first we have Mosswort Bridge. This is the hideaway land. Really good because I'll tell you, one game I hid away this guy right here and put him out, and then just attacked because I also had this next card, Rogue's Passage, make him unblockable, and then just win. So that's really good. But yeah, you'll always be able to do this most of the time because, well, not always, most of the time. You probably will be able to do this because you're going to have creatures with power 10 or greater. And then Rogue's Passage just makes things unblockable. Great card. And then finally, Wirewood Lodge. This is a great land, especially with Selvala, because lucky for us, she is an elf. So basically, you can get a bunch of mana, use one, untap her, and then do it again. So it's kind of like Elixir of, is it Immortality? I think it's Elixir of Immortality. But it's like that. No, 1,000-Year Elixir, my bad. It's like 1,000-Year Elixir. So that actually does it for the deck. However, before we sign off here, I'm just gonna show you guys. You can't have a sideboard in Commander, but I'm showing you some of the cards I've been considering mostly. First, Worldbreaker. I haven't found a great replace because he's one more mana than what I would want, but he exiles things. He has reach, which is nice, but I can't do his next ability, which kind of is unfortunate. Next we have Archetype of Endurance. This card is just great. Everything is hexproof, but he's just way too he's way too much for his power because you want to draw cards. And then finally Scour from Existence, because it's just probably one of the best cards ever, to be honest, for green, because even though it's not green. And then finally I just have tokens here, so like a worm, I have a beast, and 2 beasts, so that's all I really need, just 3 beasts, and I want the elephant tokens because those are really cool. But yeah. Anyway guys, that about does it for the deck tech. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and if you really liked it, then consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so that you can be notified immediately whenever we upload a video, because we're going to be trying to upload as often as we can. This is a collab channel, so different people will be uploading at different frequencies. I currently can upload pretty frequently. It just depends on what I want to do, if something comes up, you know. But mostly we're going to be trying to do weekly uploads. We don't have a set schedule at the moment, but it should be pretty good. So consider that, and I will see you guys in my next deck tech video. So check it out and have a good one.